So, John, tell me about what StarSearch is in your mind.
Yeah. So in my mind, StarSearch is the accumulation of a bunch of technologies to give our end users good insights and understandings into open source communities that they're involved in, but also the ability to drill down into those communities, into the individuals, and into the individual contributions. So you can imagine all the different kinds of things from a data pipeline perspective and the AI side of it, and then actually surfacing that up to the end user, going from the big picture all the way down to the individual trees.
Yeah, so let's talk about the name behind StarSearch and where that came from.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, as far as I know, I don't think I was alive when this show was running, but there was a TV show where was it Beyonce
Yeah,
and Justin Timberlake got discovered, and it was Ed McMahon was a TV host or a radio show host was going around to different states and trying to find that unique talent and those people that needed to be elevated because they were just an incredible talent singing or doing whatever. They were going out and discovering the stars. They were searching for the stars. And that's really at the heart of what OpenSauced StarSearch is finding those people who are doing the heavy lifts in the community and putting in a lot of good work, but need to be elevated and deserve to be elevated. Maybe they're not doing conference talks or blog posts or something, or podcasts like this, but they still are doing the heavy code lifts or maintenance lifts within those communities. Yeah.
yeah. So, could you explain AI engineering to your best ability and like the state of the work that you did around AI?
Yeah. So, I mean, full disclaimer, my background is mostly in infrastructure, actually, and building Linux systems and building high-scale data systems for companies and platforms and stuff. So I do not have a data science background. I don't have an AI background, but I actually believe that was greatly to my benefit building these systems because in the end, it's all software and there's a lot of data that flows through this software. So in my mind, in my eyes, a lot of what I built was taking some pretty well-proven APIs and technologies like OpenAI's APIs, some of the open and open source large language models, stitching those together to give us the capabilities to surface out a good retrieval augmented generation, which RAG for short. A lot of people talk about RAG these days, but it's basically a way to give your end users and the large language model they're interacting with more context and more understanding and more knowledge that it just would not have. So in our use case, that's information and context that OpenSauced has gathered, is able to surface obviously in our insights and graphs, but then we can also surface as part of that conversation that you're having with StarSearch. So in my mind, AI engineering, as it's continually changing, it seems today, is really a lot about building high-scale data platforms, really to anything that isn't just a simple Jupyter notebook, which is much more than what we built.
Yeah. Yeah, and can we talk about what we built as well? So time series is a big secret sauce of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So you could talk about how we leverage timescale for that solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So behind the scenes of a lot of what's going on is a timescale database, which is Postgres with the timescale plugin installed. And then we use that through the timescale company providing us that service. So some of the naming there, but that gives us a time series database built on Postgres that we can then consume time series events into, aka a lot of the GitHub events that flow through, to give us a pretty big, accurate picture of what's happening on the GitHub platform at any given time. So you can sort of think about it like, I think the classic example is like a stock ticker going by. There's a price that's always kind of ticking by, maybe every second, every minute or so. But you can sort of start to put that together as the graph, as the time series of what actually the price over a day, a week, a month might actually be. And we've done something very similar with the events that are always happening on GitHub to put together the bigger picture of the communities and the projects, pull requests that are opening, closing, issues that are landing, releases, comments, all kinds of stuff. So that all lands in the time series database. But then we use a lot of capabilities on top of timescale, primarily PG vector, to generate embeddings from AI summaries that we create on those specific events. So I'll break it down a little bit where in pull requests, we might generate a summary from an AI model on a single pull request. So maybe I'll open a pull request in our API or something, and it's, update some dependencies or something. That AI model will go generate a summary based on that and then land those embeddings inside of the database, which is really just a fancy way of saying there's a snapshot of what the AI models kind of understand that land in the database and give us some of those understandings to do some more complicated semantic searches on top of our database stuff. So we have, I guess to round out this little monologue here, is we have all this unstructured data, all this stuff that's just flowing in as events that we store as a time series in the database. But using PG Vector and using those embeddings that we get, we can actually do kind of a needle in the haystack search to actually give us some really accurate results when we use StarSearch, I guess. Yeah,
that's just amazing. And I want to talk about what's next. And we've been working with Microsoft as of recent in partnership with this next version of StarSearch that we're shipping pretty soon. It'll be live by the time this video goes out. So do you want to talk about experience working with Microsoft and Azure and AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I'm very excited about what we've been experimenting with the Microsoft folks and getting some Azure AI services going. Really what it's unlocked for us is taking what we have with a single vector database and being able to do that needle in the haystack kind of search and expanding that to multiple AI agents that can do things like go and search Bing for relevant information, maybe about a blog post that you wrote, or a talk that I gave or something anybody did out in the open source community ecosystem. Or maybe another AI agent that can start to pick apart unique insights from some of that data, or even generate a graph based on unique data that it's pulling off of our databases and stuff. So it's kind of insane, the capabilities of being able to have an agent orchestrator that knows about other agents that we have that can then start to derive even more information, insights, and again, really at its core, surface out good information about people doing the heavy lifts in the communities and who, need to be found out and searched, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last question I would actually round this out with is, like, we've been touching some open source models as well. Like we've seen a lot of open source models launch during this process.
Yeah.
Literally only the last month and a half that we've been working on this. Quite a few models have updated and launched, but we actually touched Mixtral as of recent. So do you want to share your experience working with that model?
Yeah, I've been just honestly blown away by what the open source ecosystem and community has been doing. I'm incredibly bullish on open source AI. I do believe it's the future of this space, but it's awesome to be able to see these models from Mistral AI and the new Llama 3 models from Meta. Even recently, Apple has some very small parameter models that may work on device in the future, which will just be amazing. But for us, using some of the open source Mixtral models has been really an unlock, not only in cost optimizations, being able to run those on some GPUs that we have that end up being much cheaper than pounding the OpenAI APIs constantly. But it really gives us a lot of capabilities to explore the different kind of flavors out there. Like, we're no longer locked into the cuisine of OpenAI. We have the whole buffet of different things available to us. And the Mixtral models are incredible, just with being able to use a mixture of experts, maybe for generating summaries, maybe for doing other different things that we need. So been very impressed, very bullish on open source AI.
Very cool. Well, I'm bullish on open source, and I'm bullish about StarSearch. And looking forward to get saucy with it.
Same. Yeah, get saucy with it.